Welcome to another BBD training video. This one's covering Keepass, which is a password management tool that you can use here to help remember your vast array of passwords. Alright, each of you should have Keepass installed already. If you go to your start menu and type in Keepass, it should come up. Alternatively, you can double click on your Keepass database file, which you'll store in your H drive, to open the program. Now I'm going to do that here with this test database that I've created previously. Now you may or may not be asked for a password the first time using the program. However, once you create a database, every time you launch a program afterwards, you will have to enter a password. Okay, so this is the main Keepass program window. It's pretty straightforward. The left pane consists of groups to help organize your passwords. Think of them as folders, similar to what's on the shared drive. On the right is where you'll find your password entries. You can sort of think of them like the files on the shared drive. I'll demonstrate creating a couple of entries here in different groups. I'll start with an example domain entry. So I'll just use a basic password. And if you wanted to, down here in the notes field, you could put some details about it. Domain password used to log on to Windows, my computer, or whatever, something like that. When you're done, you can click OK. And now I'll also create a example email entry one. So just put in test here. These passwords that are in here by default are just sort of previously generated passwords. You can use them if you want, but you certainly don't have to. This bar down here will indicate the strength of the password. The more complex it is, the more secure it will become. I'll put in here now, if you don't like the default groupings here, you can also rename them. If you don't like how things are sorted, you can rename them. Pretty much everything in here is you can drag and drop. So, you know, if you wanted to put things in different locations, just drag and drop as you see fit. Okay, couple of tips with this program that I'd like to share. The fields in an entry. So these fields, if you double click on them, it's going to copy them to your clipboard for a limited time. So for example, if I double click on this, you see how down here it says field copied to clipboard will be cleared in 10 seconds and it's counting down. This gives you the ability to double click and then you can alt tab over to your other program and hit Control V for paste to paste it in without having to go into the entry, select this, hit Control C, and so forth. Secondly, another one is if you have a URL field, if you double click on this, it's going to pop up your default browser and take you to, in this particular case it was signed me in automatically, but that may or may not happen depending on your settings. So without having to go in and select the field and open up Internet Explorer or Chrome and paste it in, you can just double click on the URL field here and it'll open up that web address in your browser. So if you have online banking or Green Shield or whatever else have you in there and you need to access it, you can just quickly fire it up by double clicking on it here. 3, the search field. This up here is a search field. You can basically search for anything and it'll give you the results. Let's see, if I type in email, it'll come back with email. If I type in my, it comes back with this one. Let me give you an example. If I go into this and I put my in here, something in my notes, it'll search all these fields. So if I do a search for my, I'll get both because there's the word my there and the notes there, and there's my here as well. If I only do a search for email, it's only going to come up with this one because my previous entry regarding my domain didn't have email in it anywhere. So this can be useful if you have a whole bunch of entries. You don't really remember what you called it, or maybe the group that you put it in, you can just do a search to find it. Okay. Take note of this asterisk that's up here by the database name, file name. If that asterisk is there, it basically means that the file hasn't been saved. And if you close it and don't save it, you're going to lose any changes that you've made. If you hit save here, it goes away, and you can close it without any worries. That's basically it for the quick crash course. Really quite an easy program to use. Bear in mind that your master password, the one password that you enter when you open the program, should be as complex as you can remember, because if somebody guesses that, they've got access to everything that's in here. So, but it's really that you only have to remember the one password that way. Store it on your H drive, your database file. I'm willing to come around and help you guys with that when you're setting it up for the first time if you need help. That way the database file is backed up. If something happens to your computer, you don't lose all this information. Yeah, spend some time with it, play around. If you have any questions or whatever, let me know, and enjoy.